my Facebook live stream viewers. We are so excited to have you with us today. I am really excited. It's a very special day. I have something very important to talk to you about. And joining me for this very special day right here is David Schmidt, who is the inventor, the founder, the CEO of LifeWave, our new sponsor. And we are very excited about that. So in just a moment, we'll be starting the show. Remember, you're backstage with us, live stream viewers. So you may see us chit-chatting a little bit between segments or getting something organized for the next segment. This is what happens when we record a radio show. So thank you for being with us. We're so glad you're here. And we, in just a moment when I get my little headset thing figured out, we'll be ready to begin. David will be joining us a little later in the show, so stick around because you really want to hear all the amazing information he's going to give us about these light patches, phototherapy, age reversal, stem cell activation, and more. In fact, I'm calling this show Age Reversal, Stem Cell Activation, Oh My, or Sci-Fi. So stick around to find out. We'll be right back.
Tired of the rut you're stuck in, but don't know what to do? Change it up! Join life transitions therapist, speaker, and best-selling author Paula Shaw. She'll be exploring topics that make change and the challenge it presents smoother and more productive. She'll also be spotlighting change makers who are leading the charge to make the world a better place. If you're ready to live a more exciting life, at home, in the workplace, and around the world, it's time to step out of your comfort zone and change it up. Now, here's your host, Paula Shaw.
I'm so glad you're here today. It's a very big day for us here at Change It Up Radio. We have a brand new sponsor, and it's not just any sponsor. It's a sponsor I am so excited about because I have used these products for 2 years. And any of you who have ever heard Dennis Prager's show, you've heard how he goes on and on about Relief Factor because he's used it, his wife's used it, and they've had success with it. Well, that's my experience with LifeWave phototherapy patches. So in just a little bit on our show, you're going to be meeting David Schmidt, who is the founder, the inventor, and the CEO of LifeWave. And I can't wait for you to meet him because I truly do think he's the smartest man in the world. And he's also one of the nicest, the most generous, and so willing to help. So we are delighted. As you know, our sponsors are always people that I think are top quality people. Sherry Blair has sponsored us. Tom Palladino has sponsored us. There are people who are change makers, who are trying to make a difference in the world, to make life better for everybody. And that's super important to me. You know, I don't want to have a sponsor who I don't believe in or whose work in the world is something I don't believe in. And that is certainly not the case with LifeWave. I have been using these products for over 2 years. My family uses them. I can't wait to tell you some of my stories about what has happened to me and others that I know and love using these phototherapy patches. But first, I want to just say welcome to Change It Up Radio. As you know, we're all about change. I'm Paula Shaw. I'm a life transitions therapist. I'm also an author of this book, Change It Up. That's the radio show. Saying the right thing when you don't know what to say. And this book, Grief, When Will This Pain Ever End? As well as Chakras, the Magnificent Seven. And I'm also a speaker. So doing this show and bringing you information that I think is important to help you with your journeys of change is really one of the most important parts of my life. So what I try to do on this show is either bring you information from people who are doing important work that can help you better deal with change in your life, Or I want to spotlight those change makers, people who are out there doing important things to make the world a better place. So we're so fortunate today because our guest, David Schmidt, actually does both of those things. He has done extraordinary work creating a new technology that allows a simple patch, a little round patch, which I am wearing one right here for those of you who can see on video. And there's never a day of my life that I'm not wearing these patches. But it's interesting today because I'm so grateful to be speaking to you with a smooth voice, because last night I felt the bug coming on. I had the throat, I had a little sniffly nose, and the first thing I did was not run for the what is those things you take, the cold pills that dry you up and all those things. No, I went for my patches. So actually, until just before we went on the show, I was wearing a patch here on my throat, one on each side, and we'll talk about which ones in a little bit, and this one I just showed you here on my chest. And I'm telling you, those went on last night at the first signs of something coming on, and this morning I'm here. I'm speaking to you in a voice that's pretty darn clear. I am not coughing. And none of the things that normally would be happening this morning are happening to me, all because of these light patches. That's really what they are. They're patches that work with light. And we're going to be talking a lot more about them with David in just a little bit. This one I want to share with you is one of my favorites. It's called Eon, and it's really wonderful for helping people de-stress. It's also anti-inflammatory. But I can't tell you how many times a client has come into a session and they've been so upset. I've even had them literally in fetal ball crying. And the first thing I do is take out one of these Eon patches and put it right on the back of their neck on the C7 vertebra. And then we start talking, and then we start working, and then I balance their energy. And I am telling you that they are truly transformed by the end of the session. And there are many people who've worked with me who can tell you that exact story. So I swear by this Eon patch. It's one of my favorites. But we'll be getting into that a little bit more. But one of the things I'm dying to tell you, because this is pretty hot off the press, many of you know, and you heard the show where we interviewed my dad, who was honored last week in a very big way, or actually maybe it was the week before, on June 6th. He was a veteran of the Normandy invasion. He was only 18 years old when he landed on the beach on D-Day, and he was a medic. So it was his job to patch up the wounded guys. My dad, as a result of that experience, had PTSD for 66 years, and he didn't want to tell anybody because he was afraid they would lock him up in a psych ward. And he'd had a bad experience being exposed to a psych ward during his training when he was just 18 years old. Well, last week, the last actual 2 weeks, he had the time of his life because he was selected as one of 6 veterans to go back to Normandy for the big 75th anniversary of D-Day. He was interviewed by Martha McCallum on Fox News. He was videoed. His whole trip was chronicled. It was a very exciting experience for him, and I'm happy to say a healing one, because one of the things he always wondered after going through all this trauma was, did they really appreciate what we did? Did they appreciate the sacrifice of over 9,000 men that died that day? And what Dad was thrilled to report was that the people were beyond amazing. He was treated, my brother said, he was treated like a rock star. And he really was. Everywhere he went, they wanted to shake his hand. They wanted to hug him. They hosted dinners. It was an incredible experience. But the reason I'm sharing this story, besides the fact that I'm very thrilled about it, is my dad's 93. They had a schedule going when from morning until late at night, he was on the go They were either filming this documentary that they were working on, or they were being hosted at dinners. My brother even said he's got some rather incriminating video of Dad dancing with young French girls. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anyway, the point is, people kept saying to him, and I actually have not even shared this with David yet, people kept saying to him, how do you have such energy? You have such a youthful energy about you, and you never get tired. My dad was the only one of those men who didn't use a wheelchair. He walked everywhere. And you know what my dad's response was? Well, I wear this patch, this X39 patch. My parents have been using this X39 patch for the same amount of time I have, since last October, though it was only released to the general public in January. But my dad and mom both wear that patch every day. And recently we went through some rather stressful stuff, even just upon his arrival back home, with jet lag and all of that. We had some family stuff we had to deal with. It was very stressful. But I'm telling you, on Sunday, when I went to see him on Father's Day, the first thought that struck me when they opened the door was, whoa, you both look great. They looked youthful, they had energy, and trust me, they're going through something right now. We all are, something very stressful. And so I tell you, the reason, when I say I'm excited that David is here to talk with us today, and when I tell you I'm just over the moon that LifeWave is sponsoring this show, it's because I have personal experience with these products, an experience that's important to me. My sister, who had lupus, hadn't slept well in years, but thanks to a little patch called Silent Nights, she started being able to sleep. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was wine tasting with my sister-in-law and my niece and my daughter and our little grandniece, and my little grandniece had a fever, and she wasn't feeling good. And I said to her mother, may I try an X39 patch, because there's no drugs and no chemicals in it. It won't hurt her. And so we asked her if she wanted to wear a sticker, and she said, yes, that would be good. We put an X39 on her, and she's just about 3. And within hours, we saw a shift. Her energy came back, her cheerfulness came back, and by the next morning, she still had a little fever, but she was on the mend and just kept getting better from that moment on. So, and these are just a teeny fraction of the stories I could tell you. I dropped a heavy suitcase on my toe and was leaving on a trip the next day and didn't want to miss my trip, so I put an X39 patch right on my broken toe. And 2 days later, I hiked up 8,500 feet. These are my own true stories, and there are zillions of stories from other people who have used these patches. This is an international country, so people all over the world are benefiting from what David Schmidt created. So after this message, let's talk to the man himself and get the scoop straight from the proverbial horse's mouth. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Now, more than ever, it's important for women to understand why they need a financial strategy. Women tend to make less money than men, live longer, and face more financial challenges during retirement. Hi, I'm Sherry Blair. With evolving roles and increasing responsibilities, women are seeking out ways to become more knowledgeable about their finances. My life's work has been to empower women to make good financial decisions today to help ensure you have a bright future tomorrow. I'm here to help you learn more and to become more. Give me a call for your free no-obligation consultation or a second opinion at 619-997-0416. 619-997-0416. That's 619-997-0416.
Cherry Blair is registered with and securities are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. California license number 0B42369.
Hi, I'm Kelly Klein of One Trust Home Loans, Loan Coach Kelly. A while back, my business was in a slump, and it triggered a lot of self-doubt and fear, and it even had me questioning if I'd made the right career choice. So I booked a session with Paula Shaw, and after hearing my predicament, she explained that when we get into negative, self-sabotaging thinking, and we are being run over by our limiting beliefs, it's almost impossible to create positive outcomes. She helped me clear those destructive thoughts and beliefs using her cutting-edge energy psychology techniques. Not only did I feel a whole lot better after the session, but within 2 weeks, I had 7 loans in my pipeline. I was so glad that I went to see Paula Shaw. And you should too. It really changed my perspective on life, business, and now my business is going great. You can reach her at 626-864-0756. That's 626-864-0756. 626-864-0756. Or check her out at paulashaw.com. That's paulashaw.com.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. Well, here it is, the moment I set you up for. I am going to have the privilege now of introducing David Schmidt, who is the CEO, the founder, and most importantly, the inventor of the LifeWave technology. David's experience in business and product development spans over 25 years. He was educated at Pace University in Pleasantville and had degrees in management, information systems, and biology. The LifeWave technology was born out of 3 years of intense research by David into the concept of being able to naturally increase energy and stamina through elevation of fat burning, utilizing wireless communication to the human body. Now, about 5 years ago, that would have sounded really strange, but now we all know about wireless communication. And one of the things I want to say, in addition, David's got credentials and he's done some amazing things, but rather than listing all that for you, I think we want to engage in conversation with him. But what I would love to say, after knowing David for over 2 years, is that he's just a great human being, that he does this not just because it's a business where he can make money. He does this because I truly believe he feels that he has a mission to try to help the people of the world to have a better experience in life and better health. Am I right on that one, David?
You would certainly be right. It is, I love this mission, actually, because you get to see people's lives transform.
Keep that in front of you.
Sure thing. And there's definitely a sense of responsibility that goes along with it. We receive in some truly amazing, life-changing testimonials, and when you sit back and kind of take that all in, you say, wow, I really have a responsibility to bring the technology out to the world, to get people in all corners of the world to have access to this, and do it in such a way that we can support people's lives. Mm-hmm. So it's really been incredible. It's been an incredible privilege for me personally to be associated with the distributors that make the distribution of the products possible. And I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't done this. So I'm very, very grateful.
Oh, I love hearing that, and I know that's so true. Speaking of the distributors, I want to acknowledge my little team that put on an amazing event a couple of weeks ago. Laura Langdon and Michelle Lucian and Brad Hunsacker put together with myself, we put together an event where over 300 people showed up to learn about this technology. And we were also assisted by the IT genius of Kathy Booker and Therese Santos, who brought people in even from Orange County. It was an amazing event, and what we thought was the most important thing about it is what it showed us was how much interest there is among people now of learning ways to improve their health naturally without drugs, without chemicals. And that group was there to learn how they could do that, right, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's certainly in the consciousness here, not only in California, but in other places. And also, this idea that we can activate stem cells today without the need for getting injections. I think many people today are intrigued about the possibilities of stem cell medicine. It hasn't been approved yet by the FDA, of course, with the exception of very, very limited cases. And there are many significant risks associated with it. So the idea that we could activate the stem cells that are in the body, make them behave like younger, healthier cells, and get all those benefits without the cost or the risk is, very appealing and very exciting. So I always enjoy digging into the 10-year history that we've had with this, the clinical research we've done, and most importantly, the type of results that people can expect and that are getting every day with this product.
So let me back up for just a minute because I forgot to tell
I leaped ahead, didn't
our
I?
audience. I'm calling this show today Age Reversal Stem Cell Activation, Oh My, or Sci-Fi. So David is talking about a product we're going to discuss in just a few minutes called the X39, which is his latest baby that was just launched in January. But first of all, for those of you who may be totally new to LifeWave technology, it works on a process called phototherapy or photobiomodulation, right, David? Okay,
Yep.
Would you explain to the world what that is?
Well, quite simply, it is the concept that what we can do is activate very specific biochemical reactions in the body with very specific wavelengths of light. It's also important to note that up until about 10 years ago, this was thought to be pseudoscience. The traditional conservative scientific community had felt that there wasn't enough evidence that light therapy was real, that it actually did anything, despite the fact that everyone acknowledges that light causes the body to make vitamin D.
Right.
And you can't go to sleep at night really very well with the lights on. So
And plants need it to live.
plants needed, absolutely, they needed to live. So despite that overwhelming evidence, chemical changes and follow those pathways. And now, today, there are over 5,000 clinical studies published in peer review on the scientific principles and outcomes of light therapy. So the debate is over. The science is very, very well established, and it's very, very well recognized now at universities all over the world that light does, in fact, influence to a great degree our health and can actually even control the biochemistry, which is important.
So are we to understand there's light inside the body that somehow the patches impact? Is that how it works?
So there's several layers of light and layers of energy in the body. The biophysicist Fritz Popp from Germany had first discovered that, and he labeled them biophotons, that there is emission of light that actually occurs from the DNA. It's highly coherent, just like a laser, and these highly coherent pulses of light from DNA allow thousands of different biochemical reactions in the cell to be initiated. The body also gives off infrared light as a result of cell metabolism, and that's at 4.6 microns, which is the wavelength of carbon dioxide. So this is the infrared energy that comes off our body.
So that's coming off us all the time.
All the time. As long as we're alive and our body's nice and warm, we're going to be throwing off infrared energy. And this is very important because infrared energy propagates out several feet. And, of course, we can detect this with night vision technology or medical infrared imaging.
So is it part of our biofield?
It is
Is
definitely.
it what makes up the biofield?
Yeah, Beverly Rubik, who I know you know, was the biophysicist who coined the term biofield. And it's going to describe the very complex dynamics of not only the infrared energy, but the vibrational energy, which comes off from sound, which we're both producing now, the electromagnetic field, and which comes off the heart and the brain and the hands, and the electrical field, which comes off the nerves.
Okay.
So the
So
biofield
it's
is extremely complex.
Combination of things, yeah.
That's right.
All right. So you've got a patch on your hand right there.
I do.
So when that patch is on the skin, what does it do to that infrared light, or does it?
Yeah, so what happens is your body is emitting infrared light. It passes through the patch, and what it will do is activate the materials that are inside the patch. The patch will then begin to reflect back very specific wavelengths of light that will trigger a reaction in the cell for whatever it's designed for. So because you and I were both exposed to hospital germs,
Yes,
and we don't want to get sick, we might do thione, which is highly antibacterial, antiviral, and a key antioxidant, the key antioxidant in the body. So there's things that we can do with light to activate the immune system to help prevent getting sick and also speed our recovery.
And we both did those things, and I'm excited to tell any of you out there who know something about these patches. I intuitively put the same patch David did on my thymus. We compared notes this morning and found out that we were both wearing the X39, which you're going to learn about in a little bit, on our thymus. And the thymus, of course, is important for building the immune system.
Yeah, that's right. When we think about our immune function, we think about the gut, where the immune cells are formed, and the thymus, which is where the white blood cells are formed. And so, yes, stimulating the thymus is very powerful.
And David, before we go to break, well, I don't even want to ask you this question because we're going to have to go to break in a minute, but when we come back, let's find out from David, how long has this technology been around? Is LifeWave just a local company? You know, we want to learn some more about just who in the world is using this patch and what we need to know and where LifeWave lives as far as a headquarters. So we will be back in just a moment with tons of questions to ask David. So stay with us.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Sometimes life throws you a curve. It can be a health scare, divorce, loss of a job, or death of a loved one. And big changes can make you feel stressed out and anxious, depressed, or unable to sleep. Nothing feels comfortable or safe. And that's a tough place to be. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone to talk it over with? Someone who understands why you feel the way you do and knows how to help. Paula Shaw is a life transitions counselor, an expert therapist that can help you deal with unwanted destabilizing change or disruption in your life. Using a variety of mind-body techniques and psychology processes, she helps identify the key issues, eliminating self-sabotage and doubt to get you rapid results. Paula Shaw Counseling is open to all people, all ages, and all walks of life. Big life changes can be tough. Paula Shaw can help you get through it. Call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234. 858-480-9234.
My business has lost its upward momentum. I'm working up to 14 hours a day, but my sales seem to have plateaued. I'm so overwhelmed.
I used to have that same problem, but ever since I found the Balanced Millionaire Consulting Firm, our sales and profits have risen sharply. Even our staff is more engaged, and the atmosphere is full of energy.
I have no time to work on my business to develop new sales and marketing strategies. I would love to expand, have strategic partnerships, and access to financing.
You can do all of that and more. The Balanced Millionaire Consulting Team advises you on streamlining your operations, establishing alliances, and most importantly, increasing your revenues and profits.
Let us help you build value and reduce stress in your business. Take charge. Don't let your business control your life. Visit thebalancedmillionaire.com or call 442-224-0160 for a free consultation. That's 442-224-0160 or thebalancedmillionaire.com.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
All right.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. And if you're just joining us, you are in for a great time this segment because we are talking to David Schmidt of LifeWave. This is a technology called phototherapy that we've been talking about that uses patches small round patches on the body, like this one I have right here. I'm sorry those of you on radio will not be able to see that, but they almost look like a little round Band-Aid. And those patches do amazing things with the light of the body to create specific reactions and functions. So we are going to talk a little bit right now in just a second about some of the specific things those patches do. But first I wanted to ask David just a little bit about LifeWave, because as those of you who have been with us know, LifeWave is our new sponsor. And David, so how long ago did LifeWave begin?
Well, I founded the company in 2002. And, at that point, I was really just interested in being an inventor, doing research, finding companies that could market my products. And after about 2 years, I realized that wasn't going to happen. And so decided to start LifeWave as a network marketing company, which has been great for us because it's been an organic way to grow the business and expand. So we're coming up, this year is our 15-year anniversary in business, so it's been almost 20 years for me. Wow. When you consider the amount of time to begin the research on it, develop prototypes, do the clinical studies, market research, manufacturing. So I'm into it about 20 years.
Wow. So one of the things that occurred to me, you were sharing with us in the last segment that this was all considered pretty woo-woo in the beginning. And I so relate because I'm one of the pioneers in the field of energy psychology.
Right.
And in the beginning, when we were tapping meridian points, helping people to neutralize their phobias and their fears and all of that, people thought we were all pretty crazy too. But now we also have research and clinical studies. And so, yes, people are now realizing that shifting energy creates real change.
Yeah,
and that's what we're both doing.
Yeah, and it actually goes beyond that in the sense that the energy body, if we refer to it that way, controls the biochemistry. And this was established by Becker back in the 1960s. A great book if people want to read it, The Body Electric. But what it really tells us is that that we don't have to take pills to get better. There's nothing wrong with those things. Nothing wrong with taking vitamin supplements and even drugs when you need them. But the fact of the matter is that our energy system controls the biochemistry. So this is very powerful because it means that it gives us an entirely new way to look at our health, our wellness, and even the way that we age can change by changing the energy dynamics of the cell. And that's my passion, actually, is looking about how to restore the vitality of the cells, using energy to the way they were when people were younger.
And one of the things that has made me passionate about LifeWave from the beginning is the fact that no drugs, no chemicals. I can safely use them with my clients, with my family, and just recently in my own family, we've had something evolve that looks like a bad outcome of too many steroids being administered to my sister. And so I'm even more passionate now about trying to find natural ways of working with my own health and the health of people that I love. And that's what we get to do with these LifeWave patches. And the stories, just this morning, I had a text from a woman who got some X39 and Eon patches from me. And her husband has been suffering with this inflamed knee. And he had to have a knee surgery. It got infected. Then they said he needed a back surgery. He's had all these problems. And I said to her, you know what? Let's just put an X39. I'm jumping ahead now, too, but we'll get to it. We'll explain to you what it is.
It's hard to get away from talking about
We're
X39.
whetting their appetites, though. We'll have them on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
But we put the X39 right on his knee and Eon, anti-inflammatory, on the ankle. And I got a text this morning. She said he woke up and the swelling was down. They've had no luck with any drugs, with any surgeries, with anything. That lights up my life when people tell me things like that. And that's why I keep driving everybody I know crazy talking about these patches.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Just when sometimes I think we've heard it all, we've seen all the testimonials. We'll get something in that's new. Received in a testimonial about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm waiting for the written one so we can share it. But as a woman over in Scandinavia, she had not been able to speak, and this had been going on for several years. And after one day of patching with X39 during the day and Alavita at night, she started to be able to speak again.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I don't know enough of the details about that to know really what else was going on there. And just yesterday, I received a testimonial from this fellow. And 3 years ago, his doctor told him he would never walk again. And initially, and he was in terrible pain. And he had told his wife, please divorce me because I know that I'm a miserable person to live with and I'm complaining all the time. But his wife and daughters, his 3 daughters, never gave up on him. And they came into LifeWave and they patched him for pain relief. And now he's walking again. And this past Sunday, he went for a 3-mile walk.
Oh, God.
And so we're waiting to get that permission and share it with our members.
So I'm going to ask you a sort of a therapist question, David.
Okay.
Because I know, now you're with us as a sponsor and stuff, and I think my listeners would love to know more about who you are. So I'm dying to ask you, when you read a story like that, when you know that you created this in somebody's life, what does that feel like to you?
Well, David Hawkins is one of my favorite authors, and I believe in life we should push the ego down because letting the ego run away with itself only causes trouble. Mm-hmm. And so I always I want to live in the mindset where it's the patches that are doing it and not me, and I'm part of the process. I'm very privileged to help facilitate the creation of the patches and all the work that goes with that and giving birth to that. And then it's like having a kid. You're proud of it. It goes off into the world and hopefully does some good. So I look at each one of those products as one of my kids, and I'm proud of the kid, but it's not me. And I hope that process keeps me grounded because I don't want this to be an ego thing where it's me that's doing it.
Yeah.
Because, ultimately, there's really only one source of information, and for me, that's God. And all of the development that I do is through prayer, so I don't want to take credit for it in that sense.
Oh, I love that, because I know when people say to me, oh, you helped me so much, I always feel like it comes through me. It's not of me. And I think that's what I hear you saying, too.
I would say that's a good way to put it, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that, David. So let's talk a little bit about some of these magical products that we have been referring to. I know everybody's dying for us to get to X39, but I'm saving that for the last segment. But one of your first patches was this energy enhancer, right?
Yeah, that's what started it all.
All right, so let's talk about that one first.
Yeah, so at the time, I had a company in Georgia with a few other guys, and what we were doing was developing survival equipment for the Navy, and we were coming up with things like I invented an emergency oxygen supply, new types of power generation equipment, batteries, rescue radios, and I got invited to be part of a design team for the Navy's next generation mini sub. And, bear in mind, this was more than 20 years ago, so it's hardly next generation now. But at the time, it was cutting edge. And so what I was trying to think about is how we could improve the survivability of the crew. And one of the big things that was happening then is there were a lot of accidents with military personnel working very, very long hours, being on amphetamines and pep pills. And how could we maybe get rid of that and improve their energy with a technology as opposed to using a drug or stimulant? And so I began work on development of this, and I came up with this idea that what's known is that we get twice as much energy from burning fat as we do from sugar, and this ability declines as we age for some very important reasons that we should be aware of from the point of view of regeneration. But is there any way that we could trigger the body into burning more fat for energy? And so that's exactly what the energy patches do. They upregulate fat burning by 23%. And that's what we showed in our studies.
And what I love about them is it's not a high like a caffeine high. It's just like a consistent feel good. Like I always put them on before I do the show. I put them on every day. But you just feel good. You just feel more powerful, stronger, more able. You don't feel high or buzzed or anything like you would with caffeine.
Yeah, that's right. I was listening to Dave Asprey recently of Bulletproof Coffee, and he was talking about how he developed that product. But it was the same idea, is that we want to keep the body burning fat because the energy is very stable, very sustained, and it has a huge number of health benefits, plus, of course, the benefits of better mental clarity, which we could all use today.
Yes, we can. And you know what? Darn it, David, I'm realizing time is flying way too fast. We have to go to a break. But when we come back, we will talk about the promised patch that we have been talking about during this whole interview, the X39. We'll be right back.
Yeah,
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Jack Gutman survived World War II and then returned home to the hardest fight of his life with PTSD and alcoholism. Now at age 93, he's a businessman and comedian, sharing his message of recovery and hope in his new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, helping our heroes and anyone who has experienced PTSD find happiness again. Get Jack Gutman's new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, at Amazon.com. Or to order a signed copy, call 714-525-4954.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
All right, perfect.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. And in studio with me today is David Schmidt, the founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeWave Technology. And for those of you who are just joining us, well, you're in for the bonanza segment, because we've been teasing everybody through the whole rest of the show that we would talk about the X39 patch. There are many patches in the LifeWave product line, and we are not going to be able to talk about all of them in this show. Dave and I are both astounded by how our time is flying by, but in future shows, we'll be talking about the benefits of the patches, what they do, so that you can be educated about them and decide if you want to investigate or use these patches yourself. And if you should want to do that, or you want to get more information, you can go to lifewave.com. That's lifewave.com. So, David, drum roll.
Okay.
It's X39 time.
Perfect.
So tell us about the X39 and why does it have such a sci-fi name?
Yeah, so the X39 is the 39th patch that I've created, and whenever I'm developing products, it always gets the X designation for experimental, and then when we release the product, we always give it a appropriate marketing name. But in this particular case, once we started releasing the product out to our distributors during the pre-launch, they said, oh, my God, we love the name X39. Please don't change it. Yeah. And so we kept it once we released it in January, and I think that was the right thing to do.
So we know this patch is sort of magical in many ways. And by the way, I think it's important to tell our listeners, LifeWave makes no claims that this is a medical device. It's very important to know that it does not claim it's a medical device. However, many people that I know, including myself, have had some amazing medical outcomes from the patch. But tell us, David, technically, what does the X39 do?
So the X39 is designed to elevate a peptide in the body called copper peptide, or more properly GHKCU. And peptides are control molecules, so they'll initiate other chemical reactions and do things. And in this particular case, copper peptide is really special because it has a number of incredible properties, one of them which is to activate the stem cells. So the problem that we all face is that as we age, the health and the vitality of the stem cells in our body age with the rest of the body.
And everything is made from stem cells, right?
Everything is ultimately made from stem cells. Every cell starts as a stem cell. And by the time we're age 60, the health and vitality of the stem cells has declined by over 60%. This is in their ability to get to an injury site, to produce new cells, to release growth factors, to repair cells. So that's a staggering problem. And by the time we get to our mid-70s, we don't have very many stem cells left. And this is why people over the age of 75 have a hard time healing. So what do we do about this? This is why stem cell medicine is so promising, because the thought is if we were to inject stem cells into the body that were young and healthy, we could repair injuries that we normally couldn't. But there's a lot of risk and expense that goes with that, and in most countries it's not legal. So the research that I began was to say, well, wait a minute, what if we could take the stem cells that are already in the body and reset them to a younger, healthier state? And as it turned out, there was a researcher by the name of Dr. Lauren Picard who had been doing that exact research since the late 1960s. And in 1973, he discovered copper peptide was this regulatory mechanism for stem cells. But unfortunately, it never got the attention that he really deserves. What I figured out how to do was, instead of giving an injection of this peptide into the body, which is not legal today, it's not approved, and it has a lot of expense associated with it, I figured out how to elevate the peptide using our technology, using light. So now people at very low cost in the convenience of their home daily can activate the stem cells in their body, reset them to a younger, healthier state, and get better energy, vitality, heal more quickly, and a lot of other fun things.
Yes. Yes. So one of the things for all you ladies out there, and gentlemen, of course, is that the X39, in fact, one of the ladies in my Rotary group said to me, I was looking at pictures of you at our fundraiser last year. You look younger now. And I said, X39. But it is increasing collagen, right? So it's causing wrinkles to smooth out.
That's right. That happens over time, of course. But this is one of the things that stem cells do very, very well, is they increase collagen production in the fibroblasts. And this is really for the wound repair mechanism and making new cells. But, of course, the side benefit is we can see a reduction in the appearance of lines and wrinkles over time.
Which is wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It's also increasing energy, right?
Yes. One of the things that we found with the patch is that it's going to upregulate the production of ATP in the mitochondria, and it should come as no surprise that when we repair damage to the body, it requires energy to do that. It's very energy intensive. And so one of the things that X39 will do is upregulate the metabolism. So with our studies show that even within the first day of using X39, people will feel more energy.
And I spoke earlier about my own experience with pain. And one of the things I didn't share was one night I was carrying 2 glasses and I was going upstairs. I had been asleep. My daughter woke me up and said, come to bed, Mom. So I picked up the glasses that were on the table, started up the tile stairs in my place, and I caught the edge of my shoe and I went flying forward, and my knee slammed down on the edge of a sharp tile stair. I mean, I couldn't even move. It was so painful at first. And my daughter helped me with ice and all of that. And I got in bed and I said, oh, no, wait a minute. Not just let's get the X39, because I'm thinking I'm going to be limping for a week.
Yep.
I won't be able to move well. It'll be swollen awful tomorrow. I put an X39 on that night. In the morning, I was halfway to the bathroom when I realized I wasn't limping and I wasn't in pain. Now, if I push hard on that knee, even today, I can feel a little bit of soreness, but I never had any functional difference. No huge swelling. I walked 2 miles on the beach the next day. So I think it's a miracle patch. And I mean, it's like a first aid kit in a sleeve.
Yeah, what's one of the things that's so interesting about copper peptide that makes it different than other peptides in the body, like glutathione, for example, is that it is capable of regulating gene expression and resetting genes about 4,000 or so to a younger, healthier state. So as many as a third of the active genes in a cell. And what's significant about that is that then the cells can start behaving as younger, healthier cells. And clinical research that now has come out seems to indicate that this is what makes copper peptides so powerful. What that means then is that the immune system is going to start functioning better. The ability to repair the body and even the way that we manage inflammation. So when people use X39, the product will manage inflammation, and that means reduce it, and that's where the pain relief is coming from.
It's amazing, amazing. What's another one of your favorite benefits of X39?
Sports performance, I would say, would be really, really good.
Said by an athlete.
And also recovery, of course. Youth renewal would be really big. I don't know if I would say there's one that's my favorite, but yeah, I turned 56 this year, just in April, and I'm still very active athletically. I like weight training and resistance training, and I find that my athletic performance today is far better than it was when I was in my 20s. So wow. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still reaching to improve. Also, about 2 months ago, I got tendinitis. I overdid a little bit, and that's normally like a 9 to 12 months to heal. And I healed in 7 weeks with X39.
Wow.
So I was absolutely delighted about that. And also, I never had to stop training. Even though I had tendinitis in my wrist and my knee, I continued to train, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I felt, okay, I think I'm going to be all right. And yeah, it was about 7 weeks, and I was past it, which was really, really incredible.
Wow. There's so many things, and in reading the testimonials and looking at some of the protocols and all that, people have been getting very creative with the X39 also. Now, normally I know that the LifeWave brochure recommends that you either put it on C7 back here, that's that vertebra that sticks out when you bend your head down, or just below your belly button.
That's right.
But like today, we both put it on the thymus because we had inflammation or whatever going on there.
Right.
And if you hurt yourself, like what I did with my knee, you can put the patch right on where the pain is, right?
Yeah, it would be important for people to know that you can put it anywhere, and it's going to affect the entire body. So the placement is not super critical. But because you and I study energy medicine and acupuncture, we're going to put it on certain points to stimulate those points. But the actual patch and elevating copper peptide will work anywhere. Also, if people want to put it at the point of an injury, there's certainly nothing wrong with doing that. And it's simple. So,
or a surgery site, right? Where
absolutely.
The surgery, the sutures are.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, but if they want to do it, they can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, David, I can't believe it. We have just about run out of time again. And I wanted to talk about also how that study where after 6 weeks of use, the age of the cells in the, what's the system, the heart and all of that?
Yeah, so we had the cardiovascular
system had already reversed 2 years. So I can only say to my listeners, stick around because David will be coming back and being a guest with us in the future because LifeWave is our new sponsor. So thank you for being with us. You know you can find us on AM 1170 and 96.1 FM on Sunday evenings at 9. We're on every major podcast platform, including iHeartRadio and Blog Talk. And if you forget all of that, just ask Siri or ask Alexa. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, David.
Thanks for listening to Change It Up with life transitions expert, speaker, and best-selling author Paula Shaw. Join the Change It Up movement with Paula Shaw as we explore topics that inspire, welcome change, and create a new kind of conversation. To learn more about Paula, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities, visit changeitupradio.com. Whether you're feeling happy, sad, mad, or glad, it never hurts to change it up.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let me see if, whoops. Can I say goodbye to the Facebook? Oh. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. David, thank you for an amazing show.
Thanks, Paul.
And we will see you next week here on Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. Bye-bye. Let me turn that off.
All righty.